Halloween. And remember, stay scared. I sat on my balcony, preparing to smoke the last cigarette of the night. It was late, and my bones themselves were tired. As I snuffed out the cigarette and stood with a stretch, a noise caught my attention. It was so faint that I immediately brushed it off as the wind and continued on to bed, the noise already out of my mind. The next morning I returned to the balcony for more cigarettes and coffee. I watched the world wake up with me, the cars churning through the intersection like ants, the birds making their endless racket, the shadows growing steadily shorter. As I watched and listened, I heard the noise again. For a moment, I thought it was the wind, since I could see the palm fronds moving across the road. Squinting and looking down at nothing in particular, I tilted my head to try to hear it better. It wasn't just the wind. There was a voice. I tried to brush it off again, and continued about my day, returning to the balcony once in a while for another cigarette. I found myself squinting and tilting my head each time, the world around me forgotten in favor of this whispering wind. I couldn't understand what it was saying. It was like a voice on the television in a room down the hall, stifled by 3 or 4 walls between us. No matter how much the noise around me died down, it was still so quiet. I had another cup of coffee along with my lunch, another cigarette to smoke, and that damned wind to keep my company as I sat on this damned balcony. I felt strange. It felt almost as though I weren't really myself, as if I were an actor in a screenplay of my life. I instinctively knew my lines, and every more I had to make, I began to fear that voice in the wind. Dinner. I still sat on the balcony as I ate. I didn't want to eat. I just knew I should. I wasn't even sure what I was eating, but I still ate it, out of necessity. I lit my cigarette and listened intently. I would hear what his voice said. I must hear this voice. For an hour, I sat still, allowing my cigarette to burn down to my knuckles. I didn't move as I felt it sear my flesh. I would hear this voice. I would hear this voice, and it would tell me its secret. I nodded off. I wasn't aware how long I had slept, but the sky was dark and the streetlights lit. As I awoke, I had an idea. I would pretend to continue sleeping. I would lull it into the open. The crick in my neck bothered me only slightly as I waited for the wind to tell me what I so desperately wanted to know. From the corner of my eye, I saw the moon rising high in the sky. When I finally heard the voice again, it was clearer. No longer 3 or 4 rooms away. It was just on the other side of the wall. I could hear it. I could hear the words. My internal celebration was cut short. However, when I finally heard the secret the wind had been keeping from me, the antipsychotics appear to be working, Doctor.